To Tales from the Cosmic Patrol. I'm Steve, uh, continuing through the stories in Tales from the Cosmic Patrol, Cat's Side of the Moon. And, let me see if I can get a good picture of that. Okay, there we go. And the story I'm going to cover now is Horror of the Moomoonatti. And you can see here that we have Stephen and Stefan being attacked by abominable snowmen on a cold asteroid. I believe the asteroid is Ceres. And uh, the story actually involves characters that were in my children's books. And Stephen T. Pig was the narrator of a couple of children's books, Sneaky Cows. And the last adventure was when adventurous Wisconsin dairy cows explore the solar system in search of something better to eat than grass. And the title of that book is The Truth About Space Cows by Stephen T. Pig, and that's available on Amazon. And this is available on Amazon. If you don't want to listen to me and you want to just go to Amazon, I'm fine with that. One added feature of this is that there are songs in the book, and I don't believe you can click on the barcode here and get to it. But if you go to Amazon and open up the sample page, you can click on the barcode there and then listen to the stories. So in this story, uh, Stephen and Stefan are sent to the Asteroid Belt, to the asteroid series, because they are told that some of the cows who had started the cow wars on Earth have fled to the asteroid belt. And Stephen is, quite confused because he had actually known some of these cows, and they were good cows, and so he is very very perplexed as to why the cows would have wanted to start a war, but they did. So we start with Stephen and Stefan on a series, and they're looking for the the cows, using basically a kind of a tricorder device. And Stefan warns Stephen about the abominable snowman, and of course, uh, Stephen chastises Stefan for calling the snowman abominable, because that's very judgmental, and I guess just a little bit racist. Racist against snowmen. And shortly after that warning, uh, they are an abominable snowman shows up with a giant snowball and roars. And then, Stefan, who is, very quick with the ray gun, uh, zaps the snowman. And the snowman is not killed. Uh, and he actually, has very hurt feelings, and he says, well, why did you do that? I wanted to show you the nice snowball I made for you. And, Stephen apologizes and he says, well, how are we to know? And then he asks, do you happen to know where we can find the Moomoonatti? And the snowman, points to the entrance to the Moomoonatti uh, caves. And Stephen and Stefan go to this entrance. The inspiration for this particular story comes from Captain Science. And, Captain Science is told by the machine brain that some the Illuminati are having a meeting, and he's supposed to break up the meeting. And um, one of the Illuminati is, of course, Hitler, who has escaped. You know, uh, and Captain Science is captured and put into a prison cell that they just happen to have in the cave. And then one of the Illuminati's daughters uh, rescues them, and then she becomes their beautiful assistant. And it's one of these things where Captain Science has his boy assistant, and they have this beautiful woman, you know, assisting them. But yeah, they don't seem to notice her very much, and I wonder why. Anyways, uh, so Stephen and Stefan go to the entrance to the Moomoonatti cave, and here we have them looking to the cave down there, and then they they hear some robed figures chanting eerily, and they see the robed figures, going down into the cave uh, by torchlight, and then they discreetly follow at a distance while the robed figures go down to the cave, and then the robed figures throw back their hoods to reveal that they are actually Wisconsin dairy cows, and the Wisconsin dairy cows that have started the cow war and are now in hiding, and uh, they're on the table. There are a whole bunch of hamburgers. Anyways, Stephen and Stefan, hide behind some rocks while the meeting goes on. And then Bossy, the lead cow, says, let us now reveal our true forms. And then as Stephen and Stefan look on in horror, the dairy cows transform one by one into lizard people. Okay, now that's this artwork right here. Uh, and what I did for this transformation was I just made up lizard faces and taped them on top of the cow faces. And I see I left one cow face undone. And but that's how I handled that artwork. Um, so the lizard people, the dairy cows, transform themselves into the lizard people that they actually are. And like to say a little bit about lizard people or the reptilians. And this is a conspiracy theory that I want to be true so much because it's so fun and so interesting, and I wish that Queen Elizabeth II really had been a lizard person, and I wish that Justin Bieber had really been a lizard person, or maybe still is. Or I wish that Hillary Clinton had been a lizard person, but you know, if she had been, I think she would have won the election. I think the lizard people would have pulled some strings to, make one of their own lizard people president of the United States. You know, uh, but I'm not going to dismiss the theory. I'm not going to dismiss it at all. Because there might indeed be lizard people. You don't know. Okay, so they transform themselves into lizard people, and then one of the lizard people. Oh, and Stephen gasps and says, "They're lizard people." And then the lizard people say, "Well, who just gasped and said lizard people?" And the next lizard person says, "Well, not me. I know we're lizard people." And another says, "Well, it's not me either." And then they said, "Wait, I hear a sound behind those rocks." And of course, Stephen and Stefan are captured, and they are taken down to a prison cell, which fortunately the lizard people have gone to the trouble of building a jail cell in their secret asteroid headquarters on Ceres, just in case, because you never know what happens. And uh, Lizzie, or Lizardina, the daughter of the queen of the lizard people, comes and, just like the daughter of the Illuminati, says that, I totally oppose what my mother says. I oppose what she's all about, and I want to free you and join the Cosmic Patrol. And so she does. And as Stephen and Stefan are sneaking away, there's a tray full of hamburgers, and Stephen, being a pig, just cannot help himself, and he grabs one of the hamburgers, and the hamburger stand was alarmed. So the alarm goes off, and then the lizard people chase after. And then at the very end, Stefan is once again uses his ray gun to knock down all the rocks in the tunnel so that the lizard people can't get out. And Stephen says, asks Lizzie, "What, what, what happened to the lizard? Or I'm sorry, what happened to the real dairy cows?" And Stephen is munching on a hamburger. Lizzie says, "Well, you're eating them." Okay, so that's that story. Uh, Lizzie, Lizardina, is a recurring character, and she does come back in a different story where she is now a Cosmic Patrol intern on Mars, and well, that story occurs in uh, Pirates of the Asteroid Belt, the next book in the series, and I'll cover that one eventually.